Hi, I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. Here in Exeter, we have a pleasant street named Pleasant Street. Or maybe it's Chestnut Street. They run together, and I don't even know which one is which. Maybe the confusion comes because it wasn't always named Pleasant or Chestnut Street. It wasn't pleasant at all. It was Jail Street, or sometimes Prison Street, because it's always had an identity problem. Let's forget about the street. It's too complicated, and we'll just talk about the jail. Around 1771, we really don't have a hard date on this, the newly formed Rockingham County chose Exeter to be the county seat. This meant that Exeter would need to have a court and a jail. For some reason, they chose to put the jail on the east bank of the river, right in the center of town. The description of the jail made it seem like a very formidable place. William Perry of Exeter described it as a two-story wooden building with small windows with heavy iron bars. The walls were hard oak, 4 or 5 inches thick, with iron bolts studded through. There was only a small opening for the passage of food. In comparison with modern jails, he said, it was uncomfortable to say the least. This is the key to the jail, and this big fob is actually a cudgel filled with lead, probably to persuade an offender to be on his best behavior. It's pretty dense. Local legend states that the first prisoner incarcerated in the new jail was the builder for debt. Actually, most of the jail's inmates were for non-payment of debt. Under the watch of jailkeeper Freeze Dearborn from 1810 to 1831, there were a total of 1,054 commitments to the jail. 730 were for debt. The remaining 324 were for criminal offenses. And of these, 20 escaped, because apparently escape was always an option. During the Revolution, Exeter's jail was home to a number of Dutch Tories from New York State. One of these cleverly escaped with the aid of his wife. According to accounts, the lady went in to see her husband and returned a short time later with her bonnet pulled over low and her muff drawn up to her face. By the time the alarm was sounded, she had already crossed the Great Bridge to the swamp and eventually made it to New Brunswick. Most of the other New York Tories were boarded out to local families after paying a bond. Henry Tufts, who was a rather notorious New England horse thief and petty larcenist, was imprisoned in Exeter 5 times and managed to escape 4 of these. Robert Lustfowl, an Exeter printer jailed on charges of producing counterfeit money, escaped twice during the Revolution, eventually making his way to the British lines. By 1857, the jail, with its seemingly permeable timber walls and close location to the river, was determined to be too small and not secure enough to contain the prisoners. A new jail was built on Forest Street to house county prisoners. You might remember this jail from our story about the Brickyard Riot, where the prisoners actually jumped over the jail yard fence to rescue the overseer from the rioters. So that was real secure as well. The rioters, who were Italian migrant workers, later commented that the jail accommodations were much better than the way they'd been housed at the Brickyard. This History Minute has been brought to you by the members of Star in the East Lodge number 59, Free and Accepted Masons. We're the Exeter Historical Society. Look for us at www.exeterhistory.org.